important is modern mentality. Buddha always said, my teachings need to present in Tibetan what we call lo kam meva. Lo meaning mentality, kam meaning personality, meva meaning interest. So, like for example, Atisha, very famous Indian scholar and very realized master who come to Tibet. The first Atisha, what he did is he thoroughly studied Tibetan culture, mentality, interest, personality. Then Atisha taught the teaching. So the Atisha teaching is one of the most famous and most influential in Tibetan Buddhism, that millions of people get benefit and enlightened by Atisha teaching. So therefore, now we are in the 21st century. So it's really important that the 21st century's mentality, personality, interests, we need to understand. So for me, I really interested to learn these things. At the beginning, I have a lot of interest about science. So my first interest is cosmology, then I'm interested in neuroscience, then physics. So physics is very interesting. So right now, I'm interested in psychology and social science. And through that, we can understand the modern mentality, and then we can do teaching. And the second important is pedagogy, the presentation skill, the teacher training like this. So now many of you to join this kind of training, and this really benefit for others. Buddha said, my biggest skill to help other beings is through the Dharma, the training wheel of Dharma. Not because I'm powerful, not because of magic, not because of the blessing, but the most important is through the Dharma teaching. So for us, we have followed one of the Buddha. What we need to learn is how to teach. Practice yourself and teach to others. So the first important is to understand the audience, right? Second important is your own study and practice. Really important. Whatever you teach, you try best to learn and integrate in your life, in your experience. Though nobody will be perfect, right? Until fully enlightened, we will not become fully master of the Buddha's teaching. And we all make mistakes. That's totally okay. But we need to follow the guidelines of Buddha's teaching. Principles cannot go beyond that. And for my own experience, the Buddha's teaching works in 2,600 years before, but still really relevant now in the modern era, in the modern time. So sometimes what I call is timeless wisdom. And then next important is the general teaching style, special for the public. Three important things. First, simple is very important. In ancient time, simple things make it a little bit difficult, and a lot of jargons, a lot of numbers, divination, divided, and characteristics, and then how other people think, and what are the different arguments, and what are the so many lists of theoretical explanations. People think, wow, that one is so wise. But now in the modern era, the most important is simple, that everybody can understand. So simple is very important. UK, the number one cause for death for the men is the emotion. It might become bigger than tsunami or bigger than the pandemic. So it's huge. So for these problems, Buddha Dharma become like medicine, even beyond medicine. It's ongoing information that can really explore our true nature. So therefore, second important is relevant to the feeling, to the life. It's very important. And third important is the uniqueness. So something is unique. Everybody looking for something unique. So if you have these three, simple, relevant to the feeling and the life, and uniqueness, then the teaching becomes really effective and beneficial. And how to give teaching? So in traditional style, what we call the first introduce, like summarize, then elaborate, and then conclude again. So this is also related with the modern scientific research. They said the brain, if we can hear 3 times, then we can remember. The brain remember that, repeating 3 times. So first, what are you going to teach? Then you teach, then you summarize. I think it's very good. And then how to teach? The first, in the traditional what we call first is the purpose, goba. Then summarize. Then explain, amen. Goba, then some critical questions, thinking, dialogue. And then in the end summarize. And then also how these connect each other, connect to link each other. So these are the kind of like style of the philosophical style. Then we have meditative style of teaching, what we call view, meditation, application. And this is very relevant now in the modern, the view meaning cognitive level, begin by cognitive, the reasoning. The meditation meaning connected with the experiential, feeling. And then application is connected with the doing, something applied. So human mind has 3 categories: cognitive level reasoning, emotional feeling, then the habit. Habit works with application. So if we can work with the cognitive level, emotional level, habitual level, we can transform. That's the psychology side. What they say, A, B, C. A is affect, B is behavior, C is cognitive. Only cognitive level, it helps, cannot help much. Only feeling level, it helps, but there's limitation. Only try to do something you don't know why, you don't know what purpose and how too much, it doesn't go far. So these 3 together, really beneficial. Then also, sense of humor if we have, very good. I have kind of like nature sense of humor, and I release that. And then story. Story is always important to tell this deep, profound in the story, then everybody will remember, will understand. So these are my own kind of like teaching methodology, and it really benefit for me. And overall, one of the most important thing is the intention. Why you're teaching, not trying to impress others, but to really help others to guide, to bring peace and happiness. And this is very important. So I'm really thankful for all organizers, and Tenzan, he asked me many times to give kind of like talk. So unfortunately I cannot be there, but through the video, whatever my experience, I know I have this opportunity to share all of you. Thank you very much. Hello, Namaste.
Okay, good afternoon again. So, yesterday I was a man of few words. So today I'll try to be a man of many words. Okay, so this session is called the Why of the What. And actually, I first wanted to call it Coca-Cola and bread. just very quickly go through the background of this event and the organization who organized this event. So the co-host, as mentioned yesterday, so I'm actually the founder of Open Beta. So it's actually a project on open Buddhist e-texts and annotations. It's a technology project. And so this project actually was started with following one of Shantadeva's verses, where he explains the task or the job that is assigned to bodhisattvas in this world. So my body, possessions, and merits from the past, present, and future, I shall protect, purify, and enhance, and give away to all sentient beings. And so here, basically, you have my body, possessions, and merits. So 3 things, and 4 different actions. So give away, protect, purify, and enhance. And so multiplying them together, you get the 12 main tasks that bodhisattvas are supposed to spend their life on. And so we actually took this as basis and tried to apply it for Buddhist data and for technology. So basically we started to collect a lot of the Buddhist texts in Tibetan, so giving away open Buddhist data, protecting digital preservation, purifying, cleaning, proofreading this data, and enhancing, adding making the content more useful. And so so we, for many years actually we've been working, mainly on data, together with different organizations, linking different data sources with Wikipedia, BDRC for those who know, and H4000. And so our project was kind of framed in this way. So we had all these different partnerships over the years. And so here's our team from 2011 to 2022. Another team who worked on the Tibetan Tripitaka, Conjuring Tengyur, down there from 2013 to 2018. Probably some of you know the H4000 project, translating the Tibetan canon in English. So our team actually prepared all the text. So we proofread everything, digitize everything for them. And in 2022, we teamed with Mamam, the Mamam organization, and started a project Mamam AI. So we switched to AI, and so we've been working with them until 2025. And so here, actually, our team, here in Middle, and we have around 400 annotators. Because working with AI, you need to get a lot of data, annotate, label, and I'm just missing one slide. So, on 2025, in January, last year in January, maybe some of you, are familiar with USAID. So actually, this project, collaboration with Mamam, working on AI, for Tibetan language and Buddhist data, was ended because Trump decided to close USAID. So all of a sudden, in January the 24th, we had to fire 400 people, 350. We managed to keep 50 people. That's it. And so that's basically our background. Okay, so now Coca-Cola. You might be wondering, why Coca-Cola? And so Coca-Cola actually is something that happened, before the Mamam project. I think around 2015. I met Jimmy Kinzer-Rinpoche, a teacher I know for a long time. And we were discussing about different projects, with technology, etc. At some point, he just out of the blue, he tells me, "Do you think about Coca-Cola? How often do you think about Coca-Cola?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I don't really know. I don't really think about Coca-Cola." And said, like, yeah, but you should think about Coca-Cola. Just think about it. What is Coca-Cola? Sweet water, a little bit of sour, some bubbles. And I said, okay, so yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And he asked me, do you know that there isn't a single place in the world now that's never heard about Coca-Cola? Everyone knows about Coca-Cola. And I was like, yeah, that's true. It's an interesting fact. And he said, okay, but how did they do it? And yeah, I mean, well, probably they have very good marketing teams. And so he said, yeah, that's exactly my point. We should actually, as Buddhists, we should actually really, think, observe how, and learn from, these kind of companies. Learn how do they manage, to get all the world to know their name and to know about their sweet water with, some bubbles. And so, yeah, at the time he told me, yeah, and thinking about it, for example, for those who are familiar with, Shantideva, the Buddhacharya Avatara, I think the first chapter is supposed to be an advertisement for bodhicitta. And he was like, yeah, just think about it. If we could use the same techniques that Coca-Cola uses to convince ourselves, of the importance of bodhicitta and how it's important to apply it, every day and remember it all the time. He said, we probably all would be enlightened by now. Yeah. So he told me, okay, you should, learn marketing. And, I was in the middle of completely different projects. But I still say, okay, yeah, that sounds like, a nice idea. So I went to Connaught Place, the Jain bookstore, probably some of you know it, and bought a marketing book. And yeah, I read it a little bit, but then at some point, it's really too obscure, and I just left it. And oh yeah, sorry, this is here. Okay, so that was in 2015, and now we're back in 2025, and basically USA is closed, thanks to Donald Trump, Elon Musk. Somehow is present in this convention. And that's where, so in January, we fired everyone. We're like, okay, we need to do something different. And so we decided to, keep core team, and actually decided to really focus on Buddhism. And we started, this organization called Dharmadutta to focus on Buddhist AI and content. So this is the board, the team here. And so basically, my organization, Open Pecha, collaborates, with them, on this project. And so we decided to call it Dharmadutta, because, I guess most of you actually know what it means. So it's, Dharma, messenger. Dharma and messenger being Dutta meaning messenger or envoy. And this was actually a term that was used by the King Ashoka. At his time, he sent envoys, all over the world, actually. And so, once the team decided to start this, new venture, the first question that was asked is, how to be a Dharma messenger in 2026. And actually, probably the question should have been how to be a Dharma messenger for 2050 or 2100 or something like this. And so, our answer to this question was basically, now we should focus on reliable Buddhist AI and relevant, content. So making, Buddhist texts, etc., relevant and Buddhist AI reliable. So I'm sure you all know the issues with AI. You can ask any question, it will always give you an answer. And you don't really know where it comes from, sometimes reliable, sometimes it's not. And so this is, the main issue, and this is the same for, Buddhist texts. And since we had, an AI team specialized in, Buddhist texts, so that was a very natural transition. And we decided to pick, this is one of the oldest Buddhist coins from the 1st century BC, found in Afghanistan. And some say that this is the first, visual representation of the Buddha. And you probably recognize the lion there. So the second question, we asked ourselves, okay, so great, we're going to do reliable Buddhist AI and relevant content. But now, who are we, doing this work for? And so, after some research, we decided to split, Buddhist audiences in 4 different tiers. So tier 1, the circle in the middle, academic scholars, advanced learners, regular learners, casual learners. So 4 different tiers. Yeah. And then we started to do some research on what kind of content exists. Regular learners, but who identify as Buddhist, and then the last tier who might not even identify as Buddhist. So there are many people who actually practice Buddhist techniques, but who don't identify as Buddhist. And we did some research. We basically got AI to look for, okay, so what are all the different digital resources existing for each of these tiers, and what is the size of these audiences? Yeah. And so something that was quite interesting is that on the last tier, actually there's a lot. You have probably you heard about Headspace, Calm, Insight Timer. There are quite a lot of apps that are actually really based on Buddhist techniques. Then we compared, out of curiosity, we compared with Christianity. So with Christians, we did the same research, 4 different tiers. And yeah, and so when comparing both, what we found is, Buddhists basically have a lot on the last tier. So people who don't identify as Buddhists, but still, Buddhist-based resources. And we don't have